Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about a few of the most stressful AP or advanced placement classes that you can take while you're still in high school. A lot of these classes are definitely doable, they're all doable, but these particularly have been considered to be very stressful and time consuming. First up, we have AP World History Modern. This class explores the rise and fall of empires, technological evolution, and cultural and social changes that have shaped the world. So, this class requires memorizing a vast amount of facts in a fairly short amount of time because it's a fairly short class in terms of everything you have to cover. It goes really quickly, so you're required to really understand different concepts in terms of the historical concepts and figures and dates and things like that. And you have to be able to memorize that enough to take the test. This class has the exam, I should say, has DBQs, document based questions, as well as LEQs, which are long essay questions. So you have to also prepare for these throughout the class before taking the exam. These require critical thinking skills as well as strong writing skills, which can be hard for some students who perhaps aren't as comfortable with these kinds of questions and analysis, but it's required for this class. Again, the curriculum is very fast paced due to the scale of the content. It covers so much of history, it's only logical that it's very fast paced and you have to really keep up and build on different concepts as you go. Next up, we have AP Calculus, AB specifically. This class explores fundamental concepts of limits, derivatives, and integrals, and emphasizing their real world applications. So you have to have an understanding with math already to take this class somewhat comfortably. It requires students to quickly grasp abstract concepts and apply them to complex problem solving. So it's very important to have a pre-existing knowledge of some certain mathematical um, analysis and ways of thinking, things like that. This class emphasizes both conceptual understanding and practical applications, and you have to analyze real world scenarios. For some people, it can be difficult to make the connection between something abstract, like in their textbook or lectures, etc., and with something, a real process happening in the real world. So that can be tricky and it can be stressful, especially at first when you're trying to understand that. This class requires you to quickly grasp new concepts while you build upon previous material. So it's crucial that in this class, especially, you understand one lesson before moving on to the next, or else that lesson is going to be very tricky, if not downright impossible to really do correctly and to do accurately. So it can definitely be tricky, especially if you're not inclined to this kind of thinking. It's doable, but it can be very stressful to everyone, even if you do know a lot about math already. Next up, we have AP Latin. So in this class, you're going to gain understanding of the Latin language while translating passages from the writings of Virgil and Caesar and examining them through discussions, debates, and presentations. So this class, you're required to read and translate works by Virgil and Caesar, two very influential Latin writers who wrote in Latin. And their work is both logistically complex and historically rich. So you have to have some sort of appreciation for this culture, for the history, and the context of which this writing is coming out of. So it wouldn't be a good idea to just go into this blind without knowing anything. Because it'll build on a lot of things. Even it's okay if you do go not knowing a ton, but you need to have an open mind and be excited about this class in order to really enjoy it. Even if it is a bit stressful, it'll be less so if you're willing to learn not just about the language itself, but also the culture and the historical context around it. The class demands language skills, advanced language skills, deep analytical thinking abilities, and an appreciation for classical literature. Again, it is important to have some kind of pre-existing, at least, if not knowledge, at least appreciation, because this class is far more than just like learning about the Latin language. It also requires understanding where it came from, um, how it was used, the context about it. So that's important. The class also requires you to translate these Latin texts accurately, as well as the exam, not just the class. This is difficult due to the nuances of the word order, syntax, and vocabulary that this language naturally has. So it can be a learning curve. Even if you've learned other languages in the past, Latin is a unique language in a lot of ways, grammatically, etc. So it's important that you grasp this in order to succeed in the class and the exam. And so this can be stressful for a lot of students who aren't very familiar with Latin, or even who are and who want to continue to build upon their skills. Finally, we have AP Physics 1. This class explores kinematics, dynamics, and the use of energy through hands-on laboratory work to investigate and answer complex questions. This class focuses on topics such as mechanics, waves, and Newtonian physics, which all involve understanding abstract principles, similar to another class I previously mentioned. You really have to be able to grasp not just practical, like the applications, but like really understand the inner workings of different things and concepts, which can be very difficult, especially at first when you have to build upon the next thing in order to be successful in the class and the exam. The class emphasizes critical thinking and the ability to set up and interpret different experiments. So you have to kind of be familiar with the scientific method and things from your past science classes. There's a level, there's some kind of expectation that you know enough that you're going to succeed in this class. You shouldn't just go in cold, because it'll build upon a lot of things, a lot of basic concepts. And the experiments themselves, they can be tricky, so that can be time consuming. And it can be a stressful class depending on the kind of student you are and your time management. That's very important for this class and really all AP classes. Algebra and trigonometry in this class are consistently used to solve problems involving vectors, forces, velocity, acceleration, and energy. So it's very math heavy. So and it's like it can be complicated math. It's not all just basic, so that can be tricky as well, especially if you aren't as comfortable grasping both new concepts as well as new mathematical concepts, because it's really it encompasses a lot of things. So it can be difficult sometimes to really learn and build upon it, because again, like some of the other classes, you really have to understand a certain concept, certain topic, certain idea to move on to the next level of understanding, to therefore be successful in the class and the test. So you really should be comfortable with that. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.